Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
I don't believe it. It is a new week. They just keep coming. They never stop, Ian. It never
One
stops.
after another.
Yep. Just a constant onslaught of days and weeks and months and years. Just absolute torrential onslaught of time. Just never ends. How you doing?
I personally am enjoying the inexorable march to oblivion, but how about you?
I'm doing all right, actually. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I was just being silly at the beginning of the show, because being silly on this show is what we do.
Pretty much.
We got to do something to hold back the tears, right?
Like bailing against the sea.
The sea of tears.
Which apparently we have caused with some of the revelations on this show, but that's not our fault. Don't shoot the messengers.
Well, I mean, maybe some of them are our fault, but you know, the recent one, the big recent one is definitely not necessarily your fault. But you know,
I'm honestly not sure which one you're referring to, but
there's a lot of
I'm sure we'll get to it.
I'm talking about the one that caused actual news reports this most recently. You know the one.
Oh, the Team Dark thing.
Yeah, more like Team Dork.
Well, I don't know why, because we mentioned it on the show like 2 years ago.
Here's the thing, Ian.
It's old news.
Nobody listens to this show. Why would they?
Clearly for our hard-hitting facts.
Yeah, something's hard-hitting here. I don't know about the facts.
Well, to make sure that those hits keep coming, we're going to get into it. These are the priority questions that come to us via our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. But first, you have to contend with this question from me, Ian.
Oh, again.
Yeah. I know. But it's for the greater good. Or is it? Well, Ian, another form of Sonic media incorporated an element that you previously claimed Sega said you weren't allowed to use. Were you lying to take the heat off yourself and put the blame on Sega instead? Which
thing are we talking about?
It's something in the movie. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, the thing mentioned in the novelization.
Well, actually, you know what? Now it's a couple things.
Is it in the movie too?
Now it's a couple things. No, it's not. That's not in the movie. There's a thing that happens. There's something that happens there's something introduced in the movie that you said Sonic characters are no longer allowed to have.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
I know. This is related.
I think I know what it is because somebody spoiled me on it on Twitter. Thanks very much.
Well, someone else also spoiled the movie for a lot of people on Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'm avoiding the spoilers and I'm avoiding the drama even more. So I don't know in particular, but the one I'm thinking of was in the novelization, and it was in some kind of tie-in mobile game thing recently.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I say? You know, I am not at the head of this. I just got to go by what I'm told. And as we have established on the show, it's malleable. Things change. What is no today can be yes tomorrow, and vice versa. And what is an okay on this project might be, oops, we shouldn't have okayed that. And they go back and change it. Case in point, early on in the IDW run, name dropped the Hooligans to see if, we could do that classic to modern bridge and bring them in. And that got through. But when we tried to reference them again or use them again, it was like, oh, no, that shouldn't have been approved. Can't do that. And it's like, well, phooey. There you go.
Yeah. And also, if you're looking at movie stuff, I mean, Paramount versus Sega. Who has the most sway there? Well, Paramount's not the company they used to be, that's for sure. But they do still hold a considerable amount of sway.
And I think it's pretty clear Paramount Sonic is its own continuity.
Yes.
It's putting its own spin on things, so they've got some latitude. Come on now. So I without knowing exactly what we're talking about, I can't pinpoint it, but that's, it's how it goes.
Right. Yep.
Until I have ascended to like the lead producer role of the Sonic brand and moved out to California, I don't have control. Okay.
Also,
I have bosses who answer to bosses who sometimes answer to bosses. I am a cog in the machine, a very happy cog. I get greased. I turn nicely, but I am not the man at the switch.
No. But you get different rules sometimes. Like the person who approves the comics isn't necessarily the same person getting consulted for the movie or getting any or approving anything for mobile games. It's all different departments, guys. You can't. Not all these things are crossing. Not all these things are necessarily like just being filtered through one omnipotent Sonic person at Sega. You know,
I don't even know what department would handle some of that.
The Department of Dreams. All right, let's jump into the real Q&A from the real people on the real internet. This one here is from Pedanticat to start us off. So Ian and Kyle, let's say one night Knuckles, Blaze, and Shadow are hanging out. They all learn that the others have fought Sonic, which leads to each of them recounting how said fight played out. However, they all end up arguing over which one of them came the closest to beating Sonic. Which argument do you think each would make to defend why they're the one who came the closest to beating Sonic? Of the three, who do you think actually came the closest to defeating Sonic? And if the three decided to settle the matter by asking Sonic himself, what would he say? I know Blaze probably wouldn't really get hung up about this like Knuckles and Shadow would, but let's just ignore that Blaze doesn't have the same fragile ego that the other two do.
I don't think Blaze would really engage in the argument too long. She would say her piece and then just be quiet and let the other two hash it out. Knuckles would play up his role a little bit. It wouldn't be inaccurate, just biased. And Shadow would tell his version accurately, but might not be the most articulate in what Sonic contributed to their fights.
Yeah.
Personally, I think out of all of them, Shadow would have come the closest, because I feel like his duels with Sonic seem the most illustrated as a draw. Like, I mean, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic beats Knuckles. That's you have to defeat him to progress the story.
Yeah.
So that right there is an L. But then again, Knuckles does spend most of the game punking Sonic. That is a fair point. So maybe he does have, but it's all ambush stuff. It's not really a fair fight.
Right. And
that's probably the basis of the fight, of the argument as it goes along. You didn't engage him in single combat. Well, you didn't either. Yes, I did. No, you had all Team Dark with you. I was there. I'm not talking about that fight. And Blaze is just sipping the tea, ears laid back, not making eye contact. And so when they do finally bring the whole thing to Sonic's feet, he's like, you guys came close. What are you talking about? No offense, Blaze. I mean, you all tried. I mean, gold star for participation, but beat me? No.
Silver's probably the one who actually came closest, by the way.
Oh, God, yes.
It's use indeed.
If you go by cutscenes, Sonic has to be rescued twice from Silver.
Yeah.
So out of all the rivals, Silver does have the best track record.
Yep. Wow. No wonder it's a good thing he's like super nice, or he'd be like super. It would be a super problem. Let's move on this question here from Off. Did either of you ever play Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people? If so, what was your favorite part? If not, you suck, and you really should play them.
Oh, I absolutely did. I got that day one.
Good news. I, too, have also played them, and they are delightful, although it has been many years since I have played them, so my memory is a little fuzzy on the details, but I do remember quite especially enjoying the Dangeresque. Dangeresque 3 was, I think, if I remember correctly, that was definitely the best one.
I mean, I just loved it for the joke of they were saying, Dangeresque 3 in 3D coming whenever.
Yeah. And
then the episode drops, and it's actually Dangerous 3, and it's a game in 3D. It's
yep.
You brilliant so-and-sos.
Yep. I don't think that was planned at first.
No,
but
that's what makes it so great.
Yep.
And I know applying continuity to Homestar Runner is a fool's errand.
Yeah, well, people do it with Sonic, and that's a fool's errand too. So,
But it was neat to see, Strong Bad's house with an actual layout and have some hint of continuity between regions.
I did like that. Yeah. Like they kind of.
It doesn't have to be hard and fast, but it was still neat to see. Oh, we're actually in the world of the Homestar Runner.
Yeah, they actually set up kind of where things were in relation to each other. So that was a lot of fun, and all the little references and things to like even the older stuff, and just it's so much good stuff in those games. Such a good game.
Tarantula brand metal detector.
Oh, yeah, no, those games are delightful. I should really go through them again and play them again because it has been a long time.
I think what makes them so much fun is they just feel like you're playing one of the cartoons. It doesn't feel so much like here's a time game. It just feels like it's a very interactive version of the cartoon.
Yeah. It's point and click, but I mean, it's not really super in depth. It just kind of, it's not like super puzzly or anything. Like you can get hints about what to do next. It's not very in depth, but it's very funny. It's very funny. That's why I think that's why I like it.
It's on Steam now. Yeah.
It's just a very chill thing. Yeah. It's
I don't think you can get it on the Wii anymore.
You can't get anything on the Wii anymore, Ian.
Yeah.
The Wii is dead. The Wii has died.
Well, I had it downloaded, so it should be on the hard drive still if I plugged it back in. But
yeah, I mean, that's fine. But it's on Steam. I think it's even on consoles. So I think it might have even gotten a limited physical release. I don't remember.
I didn't think so, but
delightful. I want to play it again now. You've gotten me in the mood. I'm in the mood to play it again. Well, let's go ahead and get in with this one from Pan Dulce. So according to the new Tails tube, folks like Sonic and Tails come from islands while humans live in bigger countries. Did Starline come from an island too? Which one?
Well, according to Tails tube, it's most likely he did come from an island, and there's a bajillion of them, so it's probably one we've never heard of.
Here's one from Dove. Ian, if you could do an adaptation of any 80s/90s Arnold Schwarzenegger film using the Sonic cast, which film and who plays who? Some of them have a very limited cast. Like I'm thinking like Commando. There's like not many actual characters in that movie.
Doesn't have much of a movie plot either.
No, but it's a fantastically entertaining movie. It doesn't need more than it has, It comes in, it tells its story, it gets out. That's all you need.
What is the story, though? It's
Contra, dude.
Work out for Contra had more of a story.
Well, yeah, especially in the Japanese version, which had actual cutscenes. But anyway, yes.
I'm gonna off the top of my head here.
They kidnapped his daughter, man. That's the story.
Oh, okay.
And also, yeah, Predator is more Contra. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'm going to say Terminator 2. We're going to have Knuckles as the T-800 with the Mecha Knuckles underneath the skin. And we're going to keep him voiced by Idris Elba because Idris Elba delivering any of Arnold's lines from that movie would be freaking amazing.
Okay, yeah.
Just imagine him saying, I know now why you cry in his Knuckles voice. Dude. Even better. Imagine him saying, what happened to Woofy? Just good stuff.
Yes.
So
I like this.
Tails is John Connor. I guess if we're going to be age appropriate, Vanilla's got to be Sarah Connor. And Metal Sonic, Neo Metal Sonic, thank you very much, is the T-1000.
Oh, yeah, of course. He already has the goopy thing.
What about Wave as Sarah Connor?
Wave is Sarah Connor? Maybe.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, why not? She doesn't get brought up a lot. So long as Tails can swear, we're all good. He doesn't want your damn lemons.
How old was John in the movie?
I don't remember.
11? Maybe Jet would be a little more of a fit, because Jet's only 14, and he's a bit of a punk.
Jet's only 14.
I'm
Well, Sonic's only
on...
15. Might as well go with Sonic.
I don't know. I'm just hung up on the idea of, actual Mecha Knuckles under the Knuckles skin to complete the whole Arnold thing.
That right there is enough for admission alone. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I would be there for that. So I'm seeing brought up Nate Morgan would be Dyson. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, sure, why not? I like that. It's good. That's a good one. Here's one from Tempo. Roughly how far ahead do you have stories and overarching narratives planned out? I.e., when working on, say, issue 50, do you have plans up to issue 80 already laid out, issue 75, issue 100? As a budding comic artist and writer, I was curious to know how far ahead you personally plan.
Typically, I have a bad habit of planning way too far in advance. And I try really, really hard to break my habit with the IDW book. Like, the Neo Metal's Revenge was planned as that year, and I didn't go further. It's like, whatever we do, we'll figure it out when the time is appropriate. I'm just going to focus on telling this one story and not build another 3-year-long master plan, because they just have a nasty habit of biting me in the butt and looking at you post and pre-reboot. For whatever you're doing, it really depends on the scope of your project. If you're doing like your small personal thing, I would suggest plotting out the one arc, whatever format you're going to be doing it in, and just make sure you can get that done. You can leave yourself some avenues to explore later, but tell that story and be done with it, because you never know if you're going to have to switch gears or if something else comes along and interrupt you. And if you're going for something that's super long form that you're going to be dedicated to years and years and years, still get that first one down, because you can always add to it. You can always look back at what you did previously and go, okay, what new ideas can I spin out of this? What lingering threads can I follow up on? But don't do what I do and plot out 6 or 7 plot lines and expect everything to fall into place, because it's not going to work. It's not going to happen unless you have 100% airtight control. And even then, it's not always going to work out the way that you want it to. So,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to say right now, because I'm not plotting any comics at the moment. Like, everything I'm working on mostly now is like video game stuff, which is weird.
That is weird.
Kyle.
You're not the video game guy.
I'm becoming one.
You're not the video game guy. You're not the one who wins. What the heck? This is weird. I'm confused. I am confused. I'm lost.
I mean, we've got lots of long-term plans over at Studio Aether, and I'm excited about that. But again, it has to be tackled project by project. And we have some general long-term goals, but we don't have anything set in stone down to the nitty-gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know what the budget will be. We don't know what the staff will be, because those projects haven't gotten off the ground yet.
Right.
And it's irresponsible to put too much effort into something that may not bear fruit.
All right, here's a question from Waggle Gaggle. You've joked about it, but let's put it on the books. Why bring back Horizontal and Vertical for Lockdown? Did you lose a bet, or were you just that dedicated to bringing back everyone lost to the ages? Did the editor ever look at you during the pitch, give you that look, and go, them? Really? Don't get me wrong, I love the throwback, but for characters that really 100% don't fit the Sonic mold, why keep them around? Well, before blinking them from existence. The fact they popped up before Dulcie still surprises me.
Gosh. I can't remember now if that was one of my crazy ideas that I managed to convince Paul on, or if Paul Kaminsky, editor at the time, or if Paul was like, what if we did this? And I was like, that's insane. Oh, wait, no, that works great. I honestly can't remember now. Because it feels like, because it was weird enough, it seems like either scenario would be likely.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they were included primarily because they were that fringe Alterverse bit of nonsense. It's so obscure that I'm inclined to say I dug it out of the dirt and came up with it, but they were primarily there, one, for levity's sake, two, for being the deep cut that they were, and three, for the surprise turnaround. Because number one, you wouldn't have seen them coming, and two, you wouldn't have seen them becoming their machine god forms either. And that's part of the fun of it, is to pull out this old stuff that was utilized twice in the continuity and play with it, do something with it. And we did. And I think that was probably enough. I don't think we would have ever really revisited Al and Cal again, other than to say they were brought back under control and put in solitary or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just to have fun with it. I mean, I do remember Paul was a little nervous that we were doing a prison arc, and prisons are not happy places, and this is a family book.
Right.
But we found a nice balance of, humor and physical abuse. And part of that came from Al and Cal. So thank you, Al. Thank you, Cal.
Yep. I do remember them showing up in issue 59, because I just had to look it up, because I was like, I knew it was like toward the end of my initial comic stint. And I remember them showing up and being like, this issue is weird. I like it, actually. I thought it was so weird. It was kind of like, what? This is really weird. I think I actually missed their original introduction until I went back years later and finally found them. So I didn't quite get that they were a reference to something. That was just a one-off gag panel, wasn't it? Just like a one-panel joke, or were they in there? Okay. I seem to remember. I guess that they did have a little bit of something going on, but yeah, they were. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just the way you dug all this old stuff up, it's like, you're crazy. You know that, Ian? You're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Pays the bills.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what you need to do. Here's a question from Dreamboten. How do you think Knuckles' attitude towards guarding the Master Emerald changed after Sonic 3? Because it seemed like he liked to wander around and explore before the Death Egg crashed on the island. But every time we see him on the island after Sonic 3, he's just standing there, menacingly. Do you think his original encounter with Sonic and Eggman made him take his guardian duties much more seriously?
A little bit, but I think it's more a narrative contrivance. Because if you're coming to Angel Island, it's probably for the Master Emerald. And the Master Emerald's involved, Knuckles is going to be involved. So the easiest way to introduce all those points is Knuckles is doing his job at the Master Emerald. I don't think it's necessarily that he never leaves it. It's just it's the easiest way to cover those plot beats and get on with the rest of the story.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Our last question before we take a quick break comes to us courtesy of Scruffy Matt. Way back in issue 5 of IDW Sonic, there was a minor character introduced called Elder Scruffy. In later issues, Elder Scruffy suffered numerous humiliations, such as being beaten up by Rough and Tumble, getting tied up and left dangling like a piñata, and then having a huge vat of metal virus dumped on his head. At times I wondered if this may have been a passive-aggressive way of getting revenge on a certain patron of yours, who may or may not have made jokes at your expense from time to time. So I think it's time to come clean. Is the name of Elder Scruffy inspired by a certain patron of yours? Is it off? I bet it's off.
No, I would never be so spiteful, and I would never be so transparently spiteful.
I was going to say, I thought you insisted on nothing but spite.
Quite.
Right. Okay.
But in all honesty, it's just the problem with being a recognizable, reoccurring background character. Like, you go, it's kind of like the same thing with Knuckles and the Master Emerald. If we're going to Windmill Village and we need to menace somebody, is it going to be random villager that nobody recognizes, or is it going to be the village elder that we actually established that one time?
Yeah.
Could be the one that we established, because if you do remember him, it's going to be, oh no, poor Elder Scruffy. Not, oh no, generic furry number 75.
Where's younger Scruffy? If there's Elder Scruffy, you have to have younger Scruffy, right?
No, they had a bit of a falling out. He moved out to Music Plant.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes more sense. Well, even if you are generic furry 75, you're still welcome here. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back here on the BumbleKast. And we're back with a question here to start us off. Comes to us courtesy of Damien B. Now that One World is finally back on the menu, how did the mainland react to the metal virus? Did it even reach them at all? Will the president now have a photo of Silver and Sonic on his desk next to the Sonic and Shadow one that they somehow took? I hope he looks at both of them longingly. Please.
Same thing is on the islands. Perhaps even worse, because, at least the ocean could somewhat contain the virus.
Ooh.
Mainland, once it got started, it spread like wildfire.
Oh boy, wow, okay.
So you can assume all the horrors you saw in the book happened everywhere. Nobody had a good time.
Ooh, wow, scary. Here's one from Hedgie. The Pepsi/Coke debate comes to the IDW SonicCast. Who's on what side? Would Sonic and Eggman actually agree on a brand? What side would Silver pick, or would he be dragged onto a side? Chat, get involved with this as well. Throw in some ideas. Oh no, getting the chat involved. Oh god, no.
Well, Silver would kind of stare at you for a moment and go, "What's a cola?"
And then he
back in the ruined future, we were lucky to find clean water. What are you talking about?
Oh no, not Silver.
Sonic wouldn't care. He's not really a big pop drinker to begin with until Eggman picks a side, and then Sonic will pick the other one. Eggman will declare, I don't know, Pepsi to be the superior product, and Sonic will, okay, I'm a Coke guy. Aha, of course.
That makes sense.
Choose the inferior one. All right, fine. I'm moving over to Pepsi. No, you can't do that. Pepsi's mine. I'm Coke Man now. All right, then I'm Pepsi Man. Shah. Then I will destroy you, Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man. Anyway,
he fell for the trap.
Yes. Eggman has the Pepsi Man. Eggman and Pepsi Man. I'm ready for Pepsi Man. I'm in them TV games.
Shadow glares at everyone and just opens his RC Cola.
Yeah, exactly. Blaze, being from an alternate dimension, she has something completely different.
You guys don't have fizzles on your world? All right.
What about Tangle and Whisper? Are each of them on opposite sides? Ruins their relationship forever?
Whisper doesn't drink pop. She doesn't like being on edge. She doesn't like the jitters.
She's already got enough of those that it is. She doesn't need any more.
Tangle is forbidden from touching it. She does not get to have coffee. She does not get to have caffeinated tea. She does not get any extra sugar or caffeine in her system. Jewel watches her like a hawk. Absolutely not. We barely finished preparing from the last time. No, none of it. Not even a small.
I mean, Jewel loves Crystal Pepsi. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
And then Mimic sneaks her an espresso.
Oh, no. Mimic, no.
And then she's quite literally bouncing off the walls.
Kit drinks Surge. Or whatever soda Surge likes. Which is probably Surge because it's got her name on it. But of course, we all know that the real winner in Sonic's world of Cola is always going to be Chaos Cola.
Well, yeah, but that's the easy answer.
I know.
That's the end of the commercial is, all the fighting settles down and goes, well, the one thing we can't agree on is the refreshing taste of Chaos Soda. I'll drink to that.
Yep.
Do, it's Chaos Cola.
Yes.
Made only from the finest pressed chow.
Mm. Well, yeah, you gotta wring the juices out of them, Here's a question from Axis. We may have seen them working together, but we never saw them fight each other. Supersonic versus Burning Blaze, an emerald-powered battle of the ages, and with the song "With Me" from Black Knight playing in the background.
Yes.
Who would win this epic fight, and how do you think it would go? That, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That song freaking rules.
Mm-hmm,
Both versions. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Marty Friedman. Anyway, go ahead.
No matter who wins, we all win.
Uh-huh.
I'm inclined to give this to Supersonic, only insofar as he has more experience, and a lot of that is dodging high-energy projectiles. And Burning Blaze is mostly known for her projectiles, not so much the speed. So I think ultimately Supersonic might be able to win out. Maybe, but it would not be it would be a close fight. It would not be one-sided at all.
Well, yeah, you got to fill up the time. You got to fill up the song playtime. You can't just, have it be like one and done super quick. You got to have a full-on like music video fight right in the middle of whatever's going on, because that's the only way to do it, man. Sometimes you just got to break into a badass AMV right in the middle of everything,
I mean, Burning Blaze could eat up a lot of time by, keeping him from grabbing rings to refill, but that time spent means it's rings she's not getting to refill, and the minute that she has to go refill, she has to drop her guard, and Supersonic does move in. So, I don't want to say it, but I'm kind of inclined to say Supersonic. If you disagree, please explain why I'm wrong down in the comments below.
Absolutely. Here's a question from Sapphire Scarletta. I have heard somewhere, and don't remember if it's correct or not, but are Surge and Kit confirmed forever antagonists, or can they be redeemed or become anti-heroes like Shadow? Also, what are their ages?
First off, Surge is comparable in age to Sonic, Knuckles, Shadow, them, and Kit is comparable to Tails and Cream and the other youngins.
Kit is whatever age Surge tells her. Boy, that's weird.
As for forever antagonists, I said at one point that I don't want them to be redeemed in the near future, just because there are so many antagonist turned rivals that it's tiresome.
Right.
Emerald, kinda, Gemerald, Shadow, Rouge, Chaos,
Knuckles,
Jet. Yeah, let's have them just be bad. Let's have some villains, some actual villains. That being said, I'm not lead writer on the book, and if Evan were to decide to take them in that direction, I don't want people to go, oh, Evan's betraying what Ian intended for the book. No. Stop right there. I am prophesizing this, and I'm telling you here in the long, long ago, you future children, shut up.
It won't work, Ian. I know you're trying. I know we're trying. We try, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And maybe I'll change my tune down the line. But for right now, they've just shown up.
Right.
They haven't even met Sonic and Tails yet. It's too early for me. I think it's too early to start thinking about, but what if they turn semi-good or somewhat redeemable or at least not full-on villains? Like, they haven't even been villains yet. Let them be bad.
I kind of like them operating kind of on their own,
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens. Here's one from Scurvy Pirate Hog. Through your career writing Sonic, you've always written for a pre-existing version of Sonic. When you came on Archie, you continued the Archie version of Sonic. And with the reboot and now IDW, you've written the modern game versions of Sonic. You've written for Classic Sonic, Boom Sonic, etc., etc. It's always been a version of Sonic that people are already familiar with. So that makes me curious. If you ever had the chance, would you like to write a completely new version of Sonic? One who's not tied to any previous version? A version of Sonic that is completely all your own reimagining, your own origins and beginnings for the characters, etc., etc. Basically, a version who's not modern, classic, Boom, or movie. It's the Ian Flynn Sonic. Would something like that interest you, or do you feel more comfortable writing already pre-existing versions of the characters? Just curious.
On the one hand, sure. I would love to just do a fresh take on it all. Nothing is sacred. Just do what I feel like would be fun for Sonic overall. But number one, I am never going to have that kind of latitude. Are you crazy? And number two, if I'm going to put that much work into establishing characters and world and themes and yada, 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 I might as well make my own thing, That's what I keep coming back to with a lot of stuff. Is like, oh, it would be great if I were able to do this and this and this and this with this franchise, but I'm not going to be able to. So why not just make my own thing that does that stuff? And that way I don't have to wait on getting approved by somebody. I can just make the thing. I like the thing. Other people like things like that. So I know there's an audience. So why not devote all that time and energy into making the new thing? The problem is, making the new thing doesn't pay the bills. Working for other people to do the thing with their thing, that pays. So that has to come first. But yeah, maybe one day when I have been dragged kicking and screaming and clawing from the franchise and I can do fan stuff again, maybe that will be a wild tangent that I'll follow, because it's going to be weird not working on Sonic when that day comes. It's going to be real weird.
Mm-hmm.
I might just need it just to scratch the itch.
Time
Hey,
for...
David, how do you like my fanfic? Ian, you don't work for us anymore. You don't work on Sonic anymore. I know, but I need an editor's approval. Okay, but can you change this? No, I'm taking it on my own. Why are you emailing me again? I just need it. I just need this, Dave. Please, give it to me. Come on, anything. Give me a deadline.
Dave is very confused. Is this... Wow, Ian has lost his mind. Poor guy. Poor guy. They're waiting for the day that you are forced to do nothing but write Sonic fan fiction. I'm going to laugh if that day never comes.
Maybe that's my retirement plan. Just open up a Patreon.
To write more Sonic.
God.
I'm going to retire from writing Sonic by writing more Sonic.
And that's when I finally realized, no, I have died and gone to hell. And I've just realized it now.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Start up the Ian Flynn Sonic Fanfic Patreon. You can start it right now. Heck, I mean, people pay for it.
Not gonna lie. This is not related to your question at all. Sorry, tangent here. But I have considered, doing a small Patreon where I can just put up random writings, because I do feel like I need to do more just general writing, not work writing.
Mm-hmm.
And if folks wanted to support that and wanted to see that, any denomination, I'm not gonna put a huge paywall up, but I don't know if you would like to see that. Like, I can't promise anything, regular updated, but like every now and again, just a random bit of writing for me for like $1 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If that interests you, let me know. Maybe I'll actually do it.
Interesting. And here's one from Happy Times. Ian, Kyle, can you rank the songs from Shadow the Hedgehog from your least favorite to your favorite? As a reminder, they are I Am All of Me, Almost Dead, Waking Up, The Chosen One, All Hail Shadow, and Never Turn Back.
Well, Never Turn Back is the best one, period.
Yeah. Definitely of the ones in Shadow.
Yeah.
There's
some of them I'd have to look up again.
There's something... I was actually listening to them. I did some homework on this one. I was actually listening to these before the show today, before recording. And I always think it's weird Like the weirdest one to me is Almost Dead. It's Powerman 5000, which, first of all, if you were around in the like early 2000s, that should be a name that you are probably familiar with. That song Worlds Collide, that's the big one. So not the one about Sonic and Mega Man, that's a different thing. But so seeing them have a song in a Sonic the Hedgehog, at least Sonic the Hedgehog adjacent game, was like, what? What? This is weird. Honestly, that's my least favorite track. The only thing I kind of like about it, the only thing that makes it interesting is that it's freaking Powerman 5000. Like, what the heck are they doing here? But I'm not big on that one.
I'm looking it up now, and yeah, that one, I kind of feel like I have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
But I can see myself, needing to run errands and just wanting angry music.
Yeah,
and that would go into play.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good songs, but I think there's definitely a level of, like, you got Crush 40, and then you got everything else, to be fair. All Hail Shadow, honestly, this version is a little lacking. Crush 40 really took it and made it their own in Sonic 06, so this version, while it's all right, it's definitely not. It's just not that same thing. It's got the voice is the lead singer's voice is just a little more whiny sounding, I guess, something like that. Not really into that version of it. Waking Up is all right, not bad, and also same with the Chosen One. I like both of those. I think I like Chosen One a little bit more, but and then I Am All of Me, and then All Hail Shadow. All Hail Shadow definitely takes the top spot. That one's just All Hail Shadow, or not All Hail Shadow. Never Turn Back. I'm sorry. Did I say All Hail Shadow? I meant Never Turn Back. Never Turn Back takes the top spot.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of Crush 40's best songs in general. So, absolutely. Those are my thoughts on it. Here's a question from The Cartoonist. You guys love Homestar Runner. How dare you, sir, accuse us
Seriously.
of loving Homestar Runner? How dare you? You're right, though. Gotta ask, what are all your all-time favorite Strong Bad emails, and why do you think Homestar Runner works as a quote-unquote franchise? Is it because they tread the careful line between kid/adult animation? Is it because they have gunchucks or da cheat? Maybe it's just because they're freaking nerds. That might be why. Like, clearly, obviously, like, given all the references they make with classic retro computer games and console games and just the cartoon references that they make all the time. Mario Paint being an intrinsic part of the freaking origin of Homestar Runner. I mean, yeah, these guys are freaking nerds, man.
And I think, part of it is that they walk that fine line between kid and adult, but it's also for all the parodies and lampooning that they do of older material, it's clearly done with love.
Right.
It's not disrespectful. It's not dismissive of that stuff. Like we were talking about Chi Commandos last time.
Yeah.
It very blatantly makes fun of all the G.I. Joe tropes of that time.
And it loves them.
Yeah, it embraces them. It's like, this was so stupid and that's why we loved it.
Right.
It never feels like it's at the expense of what came before.
Right.
And I guess it's that kind of intrinsic respect and shared joy that makes it so much fun.
Yeah. It's just I think part of what it is just it's very smart despite everything about it. Despite, how some of the characters talk, how it looks. It's very, very, like, it's just very, very sharply written. Like, they know they're on the ball. They're still on the ball, like, 20 years later. I don't even know how. It's ridiculous. They do a lot less now than they used to, but they still have not lost that spark. And that's, like, really, really just incredible.
And they have that perfect balance of self-awareness, too, where they know what they have is this just mad libs of visuals and names and actions, but they don't shy away from it. They don't try to give you that clever wink of, oh yes, we know it's really weird. They just embrace it.
Oh yeah.
They do it. Like the one email, it's like very super, it might be like email number 3, where somebody asks Strong Bad, why doesn't he just kill Homestar? But he misspells it as Homesar. And he's like, oh yeah, good idea. And it just cuts to Homesar, who was invented for the gag.
Yeah.
And he drops a giant weight on him, and then Homestar just shows up.
Yeah. Just
after that.
More and more Homestar. Yeah, we got him. Yes. They just build on the jokes. They don't let it like just most of the time they don't just let things go once, which is great. They just keep going back.
Favorite emails, the one with Trevor the Vampire. That was super early on, but I feel like that's where you first see like distilled Homestar Runner.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like some of the old stuff is like, oof, they have grown and improved, but that one, the computer virus one, obviously.
Oh, the computer virus one. That virus is legendary. Absolutely. That one is amazing. One of my favorites.
I had to do it Strong Bad. My mouth was a broken JPEG.
One of my favorites will always be Monster Truck with the introduction of Awesome Cross 98. Meow, meow.
Sunday.
Yes. Live in Strong Badia. Thrills, chills, syrup. And this is also where we had a live performance by Limousine.
Oh, wow.
That was the introduction of Limousine. Yep. And,
wow.
And then they ended up making...
turned into...
Yep. They made it an entire game on the site was Awesome Cross 98. It's an endless tire, really. But, endless roller instead of endless runner.
Yeah.
It was great. Fantastic. Love that.
There's the one where it's like do-overs. And it's like, dear Strong Bad, what emails would you try to do over again? And he recalls some of the better ones, but they all go disastrously wrong. And for some reason, Homestar is there colored with highlighter to be the cheat. And just somebody walking. He's just sitting there on his knees going, squeak-a-doo, I'm the cheat. And I don't know why. That is so funny.
Well, I mean, squeak-a-doo. He is the cheat. He's not playing the character incorrectly. He's not wrong. That's the cheat.
And some of the standalone cartoons, like the Strong Bad in Jail.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Homestar Runner's just doing all the car alarm noises.
Yeah.
And at the very end, they find Strong Bad. And it's like, oh, what a crap. How'd you find us? We got an anonymous tip from Strong Sad. And Strong Sad just appears. I told him you were behind the fence. It's the timing of it. That whole cartoon is brilliant.
About the one with Homestar working in the call center. And he's his own hold music. It's like, doo-doo-doo, it's the hold music. Doo-doo-doo. I still do that. I still say that. Just randomly. Doo-doo-doo, it's the hold music. Doo-doo-doo. Amazing.
I mean, like even like the old stuff, like back when their profile page was a speak and say, and the arrow would come to Coach Z and it would say, "I have more than 2 problems," and that was referenced like one other time, on like one of the main pages, and it's ingrained in my mind.
It's just so they never let anything rest, Nothing is just a one thing. Nothing's just a one-time thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the charm. It's like, what are they going to bring back this time? Or what are they going to establish this time to bring back later? It just builds on itself so well. And it just
got everything that has Marshy involved.
Oh, Marshy is a existential horror,
Oh yeah.
but also a delight.
We were out the other day, and there were these little novelty forks that had a smiley winky face engraved on the handle, and I pick one up and I show it to Aaliyah and I go, "Boogity boogity, I'll scare your dad."
No,
And she like immediately crossed to the other side of the store.
I mean,
Don't you like me? It's me, Forky.
Ian, no. Ian, no.
The Halloween commercial I pretty much have memorized
Mm-hmm.
because it's all just fire. It's madness, but it's so funny and it's unsettling. But it's still funny. It's the kind of stuff where you have to laugh because otherwise you'll scream.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm being asked if I have ever lost my crisperdor privileges. Privileges. Not privileges. Thanks for all the privileges. I think that's also another one of my favorite Strong Bad emails. Is the one where he keeps mispronouncing privileges because they misspelled it. So
Yeah.
it's common misspelling though. Good old CGNU. Crazy Go Nazi University. Yes.
Fighting and sometimes striving.
You gotta have blue hair. I still say I still say that to this day too. So still say you gotta have blue hair. Great. Just yeah. It's making references is not always funny, but good times. We got one last question here though before we take off for today. Except it's not a question, weirdly, but it's from Noni. It says, "No question for today. I just want to hear Ian go off about neat dinosaur facts for like 10 minutes. Or any animal facts, really. That's a long time, but I mean, he could probably do it."
Well, I mean, how long did we just talk about Homestar Runner?
Well, yeah, and we could probably talk for another couple hours, but
Yeah. I freaking love dinosaurs. I'm sadly out of the loop on some of the newer stuff. I feel like I was much more on the ball when I was like 8.
Well, it's probably true for everybody, but also
Yeah,
when you,
life happened.
but also when you were 8, we didn't know they had feathers yet.
No, and I've come around because initially I'm like, well, they're not like dragons anymore. They have feathers, but no, they're feathered dragons. I mean, my appreciation for birds in general has gone up now that the connection has been made with the theropods. Because you look at some of the birds in the world, like just wild turkeys are freaking terrifying. Dude.
Yep.
And so you imagine something like that, but with teeth?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
It's scary. It's very scary.
I mean, you look at a cassowary and you tell me that isn't terrifying. And then you give it hands. Feathered dinosaurs are not any less terrifying than, and with the latest Jurassic Park movie trailer, and I'm like, yeah, here we go again. I might actually skip this one. And then they trot out the feathered raptor. And I'm like, you sons of guns, you know exactly what you're doing. Oh, fine. You got me back.
Well, and it's cool though, because now you can get dinosaurs with really cool plumage and really cool, nice, bright, feathery designs that are like, I don't know, just really neat. It's a lot of possibility there.
All the dromaeosaurs were already cool in that whole, pack cheetahs with machete feet angle. But now they can climb trees and glide onto your face on top of all that. So basically, you've just given us winged dragon cheetahs, and that's even better than what we had before.
Yeah.
There was this whole special I watched recently talking about, trying to figure out stuff about the T-Rex and what kind of noise it would make. It's like it wouldn't be bellowing like it does in the movies. It would be this kind of more likely this deep guttural reverberation that you don't so much hear as feel. And that is 10 times scarier than something going, "Rawr." Like you're out in the woods, you're doing your dino thing, and then you just kind of feel this presence reverberating through the trees and through your body, and that's so freaking cool. And then the thing just materializes with the head the size of a Buick and eats you in one bite. Just like, oh my god, dude. I kind of feel like the Spinosaurus got overhyped because of Jurassic Park, but by itself, this monstrous Leviathan that's basically a sailboat with anger issues, just cruising down the ancient rivers and eating anything it decides to, because you're not going to fight that. You're whatever you are, you're lower on the food chain. Get in its belly. All-time favorite absolutely is the Troodon, because the thing had binocular vision. It had opposable thumbs. Opposable thumbs, Kyle.
Opposable thumbs.
Opposable thumbs. It had a brain large enough that it actually left an imprint on its brain casing. This thing was the chimpanzees of dinosaurs. If that meteor hadn't hit, we would all be lizard people because of that thing. I guarantee you.
Well, depending on who you ask, we already are, but some of us.
Although, if the lizard people are actually descended from our Troodon overlords, I might convert. I will fight for the other side. I will totally side with the dino people. If you're listening, Queen Elizabeth, please send me contact. And just like, sure, I mean, I feel like I kind of gravitate towards the big and amazing ones, and there were a whole bunch of other things out there. Yeah. The smaller ones, the more interesting ones that are, show the lineage of the evolution and how life went on and such. Yeah. But then you got the Diplodocus, however you pronounce it, a thing that is basically a suspension bridge with legs, something so large it had to have an extra brain thingy in its hips so it could function.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't even the longest thing. Brachiosaurus, its shoulder blade's taller than a person, just the shoulder blade, and it wasn't the biggest thing to walk on the planet. I mean, it's impressive enough to go see an elephant and to be, dwarfed by this animal, to see something that large just be alive and next to you, and you're like, wow, I am very minuscule. I am the inferior species here. The giraffes gracefully strutting along and looking down on you, because that's what they do. They look down on all things. Freaking blue whale, play basketball with its eyeball, something so immense it just boggles the mind. And yet there were terrestrial things that size, if not greater. I cannot fathom. They were giants. They were mythical beings, and they were real. That's what gets me. Like, for all the fantastical stuff that you find in mythology and whatnot, and for all the really cool and bizarre animals that we have in the world today, the fact that there was stuff that was even bigger, even weirder, and that it really was there, just drives me crazy. It's just fantastic to think that life found a way. I mean, some of the stuff that they have with the pterosaurs, when their heads are like double the size of the rest of their body, I don't know how they function. Like, once they get in the air, sure, they're aloft, but once they get out of the air, how do they move? How do you move with that much head? I don't care if it's hollow. That's a lot of head to move around. How do these things move? Like, bats look funny as it is, and they barely have a neck. This thing's got like a parasail for a face. How does it do, Kyle? How does it function? I mean, did the terrain really help them out that much? Could they just open up their wings and whoosh, like a kite? I don't know. I want to see them in action. And I know Jurassic Park has taught us multiple times that's a bad idea, but I don't care. If we're going to destroy the planet, can we at least do it with dinosaurs?
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna go out, let's go out like a chomp. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the appeal of Godzilla, isn't it? He's just a big old freaking dinosaur. More kaiju, please.
And it's not just dinosaurs. All sorts of ancient critters.
Oh yeah,
are freaking cool to me. And
all sorts of ocean-based ones are really cool.
Oh God, yes, the Precambrian stuff.
Yeah,
the Homestar Runners of the sea.
It's terrifying, but it's also cool.
Seeing what life managed to figure out to get to work initially, and then how it just kind of bug tested for the millions of years afterwards.
Bungled its way through, yes. We're here by sheer accident.
One second. I don't need to look up this. It's a YouTube channel called Mothlight Studios. And They do regular episodes on ancient critters and the thinking behind how they came to be and where they fit in the grander scheme of life. And just some of the stuff that I've never even heard of, like the evolutionary traits of bats,
Right.
Not bird flight with feathered wings, but like with actual stretched out skin and stuff, has evolved multiple times independently. And so there were basically like little ancient lizard bats. And that's just cool, Kyle. There were lizard bats with the dinosaurs. I mean, sure, the ancient bird dinos, that's cool in its own right, but lizard bats, dino bats, Kyle. Dino bats. That's metal as hell.
That is awesome. Yeah. Yep.
And even seeing some of the evolutionary dead ends that just happened to work it for as long as they did because they had no competition. I forget what it's called, but it's like some little skinny lizard thing that's got these bill wings on its back legs. It looks like a Dr. Seuss drawing. How did this thing survive long enough to be recorded in the fossil record? This thing doesn't look like it should be able to walk, let alone propagate. So it's so cool to know what has been and what could have been and what could be again, maybe.
I'm seeing we have yet to even get to the giant insects, which that's a whole nother thing.
Like, I do not mind the ancient spiders that had spikes on them. They
that sounds awesome.
I don't know why they died out. You would think an armored spiky spider would be something that would endure, but they can be dead. That's fine.
Yeah.
The giant sea scorpions, they can be dead. That's fine. That's cool. The millipedes the size of a dachshund, they can be dead off. That's perfectly fine by me.
Why do you want to kill off all the bugs?
Because I don't like the bugs. I especially don't like millipedes. I hate the creepy crawlies.
It's funny because millipedes are like centipedes. Yeah, I mean, just kill those things.
Centipedes.
Screw those. Millipedes, though, whatever. No big deal.
They're just kind of gross. But yeah,
they're just kind of there. No. But the centipedes, screw those guys.
No.
Especially around here.
No.
And maybe kind of scorpions too. Although, I kind of appreciate scorpions. I like them. I think they're pretty cool.
Cool.
But I don't really want them in my house.
No.
Unless they're in like a cage. That would be fun. Have them as pets. Yes, I do not want them as pests. Yeah.
Kyle, there was an age where there were giant birds that ate tiny horses.
Yeah.
We are living in the wrong epoch.
Well, I don't know if we'd survive in that epoch. We'd be dead.
Granted, but at least we would be able to see a bird eat a horse, and it'd be cool.
Well, maybe we'd see it. I don't know. We might not. We might be dead before that happens. I don't know, man. Back when the flora was also gigantic. It's like, no. That's wild. Wild.
And what's the other side of the coin that is so freaking depressing is to think that all that we know of this comes from the tiny, tiny segments of the world that were in the right conditions to preserve it.
Mm-hmm.
The vast majority of the rest of the planet would not have been ideal for this kind of preservation, or is in a configuration now where we just can't access it.
Yep.
All that information, entire swaths of species and lineages, we will never know. They are lost forever, and that drives me crazy.
And we are continually finding new species or species that once existed that we will never know. Also, a lot of things are going extinct just as fast.
No.
And it's like, okay, well, yeah. It's the circle of life.
Also, Triceratops is cool.
Oh, Triceratops? Oh, they're freaking awesome, dude.
Actually, anything in that line is cool. Even little Protoceratops. I would own a Protoceratops.
Oh, yep.
They're cute.
Those are awesome. Yeah, I love those guys. Also, I'm seeing brought up here that even today, the eagle owl hunts deer, which sounds amazing. But
it is. But that's different. That's dive from above. That's standard bird stuff. I'm talking like the old terror birds. The Titanic walrus, the thing that looks like an ostrich on steroids, and the horses that were about the size of like a Doberman or something.
It just picks you up and takes you away.
Yep. Although I think I've heard somewhere that they were probably more like fruit eating birds, big old honking beaks for cracking open nuts and stuff. And come on.
Reality, why you gotta get in the way of the fun? How dare you? Well,
something that big, it's got to be an opportunist. I'm sure it ate something that was screaming at one point.
Well, the reality is that we are at the end of this episode. That's all we got. That was more than 10 minutes, by the way.
I didn't get to what's alive today. So join us next time.
I know. We got to go to the Bumble Animal Theater.
But before we wrap it up, we're going to give a big thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Home, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Copeland Crew 128, DK, Duas Dizdin, Dave M., Andrew D., Off, Salute Your Cat, Jay Frost, Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sony, Hero Flight 13, John M., Noni, Ryan D., Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Blue Title Gamer, Fiona M., Ben W., Tick Tick, Final Neil, Xander Under the Painter, Jonathan D., Fire Red XY, Nimric, Solaris Stain, Daddler the Dalek, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., Pedante Cat, The Name is X Dove, Red the Supernamic, Axis Pandolce, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Ava Arctic, Jennifer H., Scurvy Pirate Hog, Les, Professor Rye, Preston M., Cameron H., Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukina, Noah S., Chase L., Red W., Kojiro Highwind, Joey the Sonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radry, Callum Q, Just a Mountain Soul, John the Real Waluigi, ONBD, Alex120, Ty H, Maddie H, N Zephyr, KJB, T Ranger Crooker, and Tails, Dreamboatin, Mox, Lewis J, Derusival, 4 Sonic Fan, Finest Cacophony, Techno Cinema, The Marble Gardener, Arc Fighter, Goosey Tante, Agent Kaz, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Michael P, Spiral Warrior, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Ty Cyan, Nondol, Rhythm Raccoon, Damien B, Hedgie, the Cartoonist, Lemon Yuri, and Idira.
Nice.
So that's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. We will see you Wednesday for more Priority Q&A. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time.
See you then. See you in a couple days. Being asked a favorite Land Before Time character.
Petrie, come on now.
Petrie's kind of cool, yeah. It's been so long. I mean, when I was a kid, it was Littlefoot. Because I loved Littlefoot. I still have a stuffed Littlefoot. But, I don't know, going back, I don't know. Maybe Ducky. Or yeah. I don't know.
Spike.
Yeah.
Sarah was a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, Sharptooth was a presence.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a shame they never made more than one. But,
I know.
Yeah, it's probably good that they just stopped. Never.
Yeah,
drove it to the ground.
yeah. We've seen what happens when you go back to the well too many times. Runs its course. Oh well. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. So the thing is your mute on your microphone does not work?
Well, that's what I want to test. So
Okay.
now we've established that the proper mic is plugged in.
Okay.
The proper mic is working now.
Yes.
All right. So now I'm going to mute the right mic, and we will see what happens.
Okay. I don't hear shit. I don't hear a damn thing, dude. I don't hear nothing.
Well, the problem is I was trying to ask you things, and you were actually properly responding as if you could hear me. So that was really confusing for a minute.
Sorry, I didn't hear nothing. You were gone. Even the little icon came up on Discord saying you were muted.
Okay.
So
I don't know what had happened last time. Maybe I missed the mute button.
So the mute button on your microphone Like physically on it? What does it do?
I don't have a mute button on the mic. I'm using the one in
The
Discord.
one in Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like to me what you did was click the wrong one or didn't actually mute last time.
I guess.
Because that's a software mute. It should work. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you mute it. If you mute in Discord, you're mute for real.
All right.
So
well,
if you miss the mute button in Discord, then you don't mute. Like every time I was hearing you. Like if you were making noise while we were doing a recording, like if I was asking a question or if I was talking and you were making noise in the background, you weren't muted.
yeah,
It wasn't
I
coming
thought
through
it
the
was.
mute.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.